Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be presenting about technologies for CLT classrooms with the specific strategy of task-based language teaching. So I'm Diandra Nawati and we're about to start today's presentations. First of all, let me show you the highlighted main point related to the topic. Anyways, these topic presentations will be initiated through the explanations about the topic background, which will be covered in the introduction part. Next, I'm also going to dive deeper into task-based language teaching and how it relates to communicative language teaching. After that, I will continue with the rationale of integrating technology into task-based language teaching. Finally, the most reasonable point when speaking of the technologies for educations is, of course, the presentations about kinds of tools and their implementations to support and, most importantly, to improve the teaching and learning itself. Well, we'll come to the introduction part here, where it's going to share descriptions about how communicative language teaching and task-based language teaching relates. The task-based language teaching is chosen in here is because, according to Richard 2005, task-based instruction is regarded as an extension of the CLT movement with the shared goal of achieving communication output, although they take different routes. Meanwhile, Noonan is suggested that CLT is a concept and then task-based language teaching represents the realizations at the levels of syllabus, designs, and methodology. Ultimately, Alice also suggested that a task-based approach is widely accepted as beneficial because it can readily involve all aspects of the four language skills, and then TLBT or task-based language teaching as an approach is also beneficial because it promotes the use of cognitive process. Based on the previous descriptions from the three experts, so it can be regarded that TLBT or task-based language teaching actually is supportive of the principles of the communicative language teachings, where it emphasizes on the communicative ways and outcome in the language learning and teaching. Finally, deeper into the task-based language teaching. According to Willis, 1996, task-based language teaching, or commonly known as TLBT, is a goal-oriented activity in which learners use language to achieve a real outcome. In other words, learners use whatever the target language resources they have in order to solve the problem, such as doing the puzzle, playing a game, or sharing and comparing experiences. To finding out more about the task-based language teaching, it is actually important to define what a task is. According to some experts here, a task is defined as a piece of classroom work that involves learners in comprehending, producing, or interacting in the target language while their attention is focused on mobilizing their grammatical knowledge in order to express meanings. That is according to Noonan 2004. Meanwhile, Long defined a task as the 101 things that people do in real life, at work, at play, or in between. So the definitions that Long suggested here is more realistic and more practical, since it refers to real world situations. Brin is also define a task as a structure plan for the provision of opportunities for the refinement of the knowledge and capabilities entailed in a language and its use during the communications. So Brin here actually combines the use of the language in real life situations and also during the classroom situations. After defining what a task, now we also should emphasize about five different definitional features of task. Task is first, task is primary focus on meaning. It means that the task should have meaning outside the language practice. Again, it's related to the real world situation. Students should talk about their own weekend activity schedules, for example, rather than learning other people's schedules. Next, the task in integrating technology into teaching-based language into TLBT should be goal orientations. In order to the students to be able to achieve the goals, so the task should also fit the students. It means that the language target that is employed is not uh, too much, so that students can accomplish or can complete the task. Next, in integrating technology into TLBT, we also should consider that the task that is brought should be learner-centeredness. Students should given chance to exploit themselves in the learning process with the teacher as the facilitator or the guide of the learning process. Integrating technology into TLBT should be holism. It means that the task that is given should rely on authenticity and represents real world situations. It also should have the applications outside the classrooms, not only useful in the classrooms, but most importantly is that they can use it as, in the real situations outside the classrooms. The last one, to integrate technology into TLBT, the task that is brought also should be reflective learning. This is actually related to the assessment at the classrooms. Learners actually should be assessed by being able to complete the task rather than by the language that used to do it. In terms of the implementations of adding or integrating technology into TLBT, it can be done by modifying the curriculum. However, there are some considerations in implementing integrated technology in TLBT to the curriculum. The first is that in modifying the curriculum, the teacher should have a clear definition of tasks because it is important to build foundations that technological tasks should be learner centered and primarily focus on meaning rather than on grammatical forms. And then a task also should be we also should be mindful that a task that is going to be brought in integrating technology into TLBT also should be universal or authentic. And the next one, in integrating technology into the curriculum, the situations that should be considered is also that an awareness of the non-neutrality of the technology. This non-neutrality here means because when incorporating technology into the learning and teaching and learning is never neutral, since adding technology to a curriculum brings a whole new set of real world tasks. For example, when incorporating email into tasks such as writing letter, it of course going to be different, totally different with the teaching using the teaching with the same topic, but in the form of paper letter. So that's why it is considered as a whole new set. The next situation that should also be considered in in modifying the curriculum in this context is that there should be a full integration of the technology mediated task in a full TLBT curriculum. This means that integrating technology is not only at the time where teaching and learning happens, but also should be started or initiated ever since the times of the needs analysis. When doing needs analysis, the technologies should also have been integrated already so that we can have the real results of how the technology is going to be useful in the teaching and learning process. Now, there are some benefits of integrating technology into TLBT classrooms. First, that by integrating technology into TLBT, the TLBT itself as an approach can be significantly developed. And then second, the integration of technology in TLBT can help reduce students' fear of failure and embarrassment. These also can increase students' motivations to take risks and can be more creative. And the next advantage is by integrating technology into TLBT, it also helps the students meet other speakers of the language in remote locations. For examples, in virtual situations or virtual spaces. And then the last, by integrating technology into TLBT, also can promote the engagement for students to be more active. Okay, now this is the ultimate point of the presentations today, which is the examples of tools and technologies that can be used for TLBT or task-based language teaching. The first one is virtual environment. Virtual environments is a perfect example of how technology and tasks can be interconnected with a virtual in a virtual ways. These virtual environments also can engage the learners with the language productive in a creative ways, with a purpose that is beyond the language practice in traditional classrooms. Virtual environment is also a space where students can be seen successful in using these tools when they can deal or they can complete or achieve the task and design. The virtual environment also can support authentic learning since it deals with real-world situations in a virtual way. It is also more encouraging for the students and allow them to have a real interaction with a variety of speakers, both from native or non-native speakers. The tasks that is brought in virtual environments also promotes the negotiations of meaning. For example, communication routines with a real and authentic goals. And here I'm going to show a little display or portrait about the virtual environment, and one of the examples that is one of the best examples of the virtual environment that can be used in language and teaching is called Quest Atlantis. Let me share another screen here. So I'm here going to bring you to watch a video to see how virtual environments looks like in Quest Atlantis.
Hi there, I'm Stephen Caudwell's avatar called Milarippa. I'm going to explain Quest Atlantis to you in hopefully just under 2 minutes. Rather than just placing work and play side by side, QA strives to make learning fun and show kids how they can make a difference. It fosters creativity and personal expression. Quest Atlantis is an international learning and teaching project that uses a 3D multi-user environment to share educational tasks with students aged 9 to 16. Quest Atlantis encourages appropriate use of technology to bolster self-esteem, maintain privacy, and also to create effective communities. These are some of the rules that all students agree to follow. The project models social action and international citizenship. Quest Atlantis encourages students to meet global issues and become advocates for change. Students conduct rich inquiry-based explorations based around significant environmental and social issues. They could, for instance, be investigators saving a national park from an ecological disaster. Each learning task is linked to one or more core values. One of the key values is compassionate wisdom. Through both real and virtual tasks, students are exposed to the value of kindness, but more needs to be done to explain how one can be truly compassionate, hence my project. Quest Atlantis provides students with entire worlds where they are central, important participants, a place where their actions have a significant impact on the world, and where they can reflect on the consequences of their choices. In short, Quest Atlantis builds character as well as skills for the future.
So that is how Quest Atlantis looks like, and it's basically how virtual environments can be engaged into the classrooms to teach the language, the second language for the students. The next examples of integrating technology into TLBT is by using games. Games can also be alternative technologies that can be ideally integrated into TLBT, considering also the task-based nature of the games itself. By utilizing gaming in the second language, learners need to be able to do things such as find something, talk with someone, save an object, read a note, and etc. These kind of games, many kinds of games that requires both spoken or written communications. And then the next one, specifically about the writing. These kind of technologies that can be integrated in TLBT is Web 2.0 writing tools. These kind of writing tools can easily be interrelated in the TLBT because it makes the second language learning writing be more familiar to the students. They feel a more familiar activity in using this kind of writing tools while they're learning the second language. The Web 2.0 writing tools also possess the potential link to language learners with other writers of the target language, and they can exchange ideas in between the communications. Some examples of writing tools from the era of Web 2.0 is first blogs. Blogs are spaces where individuals can share their writing on any topic. Some of the blogs are such as Blogger, WordPress, Tumblr, Google Plus, and etc. Here I'm also going to show you some blogs that is. This is actually a more professional blogs. Now I'm going to share another screen. Okay, so this is an example of blogs, but there are also many kinds of more personal blogs that people can create. But in this kind of blogs is a blogs from the OUP blogs. It's Oxford University Press, Global Blogs. These blogs actually consist of what the writers can write their ideas in these blogs. For example, here there's a writer that writes or shares their opinions about learning English with also virtual environments. So, as I have been showing you the examples of virtual environments such as Quest Atlantis, these writers, he is actually uh, an English teacher in Japan. He shares his thought about virtual environments here using the Minecraft. Minecraft is one of the most famous virtual environment nowadays, and he is the writer of these blogs. He actually also shares how virtual environments really engage their students in his students in his classrooms, and how it improves his students' language acquisitions. So that is an example of a blog. And then back to the presentations, another kinds of writing tools from the era of Web 2.0 is wikis. Some examples of wikis are such as Wikispace, Wikipedia, or Google Docs, also kind of wikis. These wikis actually spaces where all the participants can engage in collaborative writing, either synchronously or asynchronously. This kind of wikis usually features a history tool where it allows the creator or the initiator of the document to see whether any changes, additions, or deletions that have been made. By incorporating this into the classrooms, a teacher, as the creator or the initiator, can keep track of the students' work. One, as it has been said that Google Docs is also, I prefer here actually to see Google Docs. Maybe it's the most familiar that teachers use in their classrooms, since the Google Docs actually promotes the collaborative writing. And then the next, after blogs and wikis, there are also kinds of fan fiction sites that can be integrated as the writing tools from the Web 2.0. These fan fiction sites actually a space where the communities of writers who write materials that they get from the fan fiction or fandoms which is similar, or this which they have the similar likes, such as from movies, books, TV programs, or music groups. In using fan fiction sites, the members or the communities, the writers, can have the opportunities to give their response by commenting on the writing. So the audience can also have these opportunities. The process of the writing here can be taught to the students through these technologies collaboratively or individually. So within the situations using the fan fictions, teachers can also give construction feedback, as well as introduce them to other writing process, such as genre development or other skills such as reading too. These fan fiction sites actually also benefits for the students, so it can motivate them to read the book if they are in the same community of fan of a book. For examples like Harry Potter, the fan fiction sites of Harry Potter are pretty active, in my opinion. So there is kinds of technologies that maybe teachers can consider to be integrated in the in the TLBT classrooms. And finally, we have come to the conclusions of these presentations. So as a learning approach, task-based language teaching has made communicative language teaching, or CLT, become more realistic to be implemented in language classrooms. In order to make TLBT be more successful and meaningful, the integration of technology is an ideal way. So technology has improved new tasks representing real world so that the learners can achieve their learning goals practically and meaningfully. Alongside the rapid development of technology, the education field also has come to an adjustment to it. That those educators could maximize the quality of their teaching and learning by utilizing the technology that supports communicative goals in the teaching in the CLT classrooms. Well, thank you everyone for giving me attention to do these presentations. We are going to continue to the discussions in the FB classrooms activities. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.